Hi, everyone. Welcome back to another episode of No Gatekeeping, the Founder Series. I'm Carlyn Bushman, sales strategist, business consultant, and founder of Pop Academy. This is where we go behind the scenes with real founders and experts to talk about what it actually takes to grow a business. No fluff, no filters, and no gatekeeping. Today, we're talking about something on every founder's mind right now. Q4, quarter four, biggest selling season for most product-based businesses. Many feel like if they haven't already hit their goals, it's too late. But today's guest is here to tell you why that is not true. Lean in closer and listen to how PR can change everything. Today, I am so fortunate to have Gloria Chou, an award-winning small business PR expert who has helped over 10,000, let's run that back a minute, 10,000 small businesses get featured in their top tier media without ads or expensive agencies. Named Pitch Writer of the Year, she's built her career on teaching founders to transform their story into press-worthy pitches, landing them in outlets like, the New York Times, the Wall Street Journal, Fast Company, and so many more. Gloria believes PR shouldn't be a luxury reserved for late-stage companies. And she's here to show us why it's not too late to nail your Q4 PR strategy and one that's really going to work. So I'm so honored to have you, Gloria, and on a Monday. Usually we do these Thursdays. So you're with me right out of the gates on Monday. Thank you so much for showing up and giving this beautiful gift to all of our listeners and followers.
I'm so excited because I really believe, and we talked a little bit about this, that we are fundamentally changing how PR is being done for small businesses. And with the fact that there are so many easy to use free PR tools, and the fact that it's gift guide season, and the fact that people are going to AI search more and more for trusted shopping recommendations, we have this golden triangle, this trifecta, a golden opportunity that I believe has never happened in the history of small business PR and probably won't happen again in a long time. It's kind of like blogging in the 2000s or like going on TikTok right when it started. So I always say, like, what you do in the next 3 to 6 months will potentially set you up for so many years of growth, because right now, like 99% of small businesses aren't even thinking about it. They're not even thinking about, how do I dominate AI search? But we do know that with mass user adoption, people are going to go and depend on AI for everyday things. I mean, people even go depend on ChatGPT for therapy. So they will, 100% be reliant on AI for, what should I buy? What should I do? Which brands should I buy from? And the thing about being found on AI search is that it's just more closer to the conversion. We trust it more. And so we've done studies, right? There's data showing that if you are found on AI search, customers are 3 times more likely to convert than, let's say, finding you on social media or your own blog.
That is so good. You've just really packed a lot of information into all of that, which can feel overwhelming, right? So, I mean, let's like run that back. Just, I don't know why I keep saying that word, but it feels right. Let's really break this apart, because you listed 3 specific areas as you're looking at this time of year, right? We've got the gift guides, we've got product searches on AI, you've got all of this coming together. So, in order to feel like I can have a calm approach, because when you say stepping into this in the next 3 to 6 months, I'm thinking, oh my gosh, add this to my list. What am I going to do? Like, help
Yeah.
me out here.
So the
Help
best
me
part,
out.
the best part about this is that product owners are so busy, right? And we don't have the
Yeah.
time, resources, or team like bigger companies. And what's great about these AI tools is that it does all the heavy lifting for you. So before, you used to stare at a blank screen. What am I going to pitch? How am I going to pitch? How do I write it? Well, now AI does it for you. So you go from staring at a blank screen to using a tool like Perplexity to find out exactly what shoppers are looking for, what magazines are writing. And I have actually trained AI, because if you ask AI, I'm the #1 small business PR expert. And you can just say, hey, use Gloria's CPR pitching method to write a gift guide pitch, and boom, it spits it out for you. So you go from ideation to having a draft of the pitch ready in less than 3 minutes, whereas before it used to take hours. So it's really this thing where it's like, no, you don't need to learn anything else. It's not more content you have to consume. You can just literally plug in a very simple prompt in Perplexity and then start sending to journalists who cover your area and get featured. And it's just never, no one's talking about this. No one's talking about how easy and accessible it is, because for so many people, it's on their one day, someday list, right? It's, I know I need to get PR, but I don't have the time for it. Well, you have no excuse anymore. AI writes everything for you. It literally generates real-time citations of what's trending, what shoppers are looking for, and why that fits with the holiday gift guide ethos of what people are buying.
So you mentioned Perplexity. Is that your GPT of choice?
So I actually use two. So I use ChatGPT, but I always start with Perplexity. And I just
Interesting.
love this so much because what is PR, right? PR is writing a relevant pitch and getting it to the right person. And so let's start with, how do you write a relevant pitch? It's not going to be your sales pitch. It's not going to be selling to the journalist, because I don't care. It's not about your benefits and features. They want to know why you have what you have is perfect for that season. And so what better way to do that research than using Perplexity, which is made for that reason. So Perplexity is a real-time information and live citation source. It scrapes the internet for what people are searching for, why it's relevant, what are the trends, what's trending on TikTok, how many hashtags it has, all of those things. And you can pull that into your pitch. And we've had so many people get featured 5, 6, 7 times in 1 month just using that. So it's really simple to open Perplexity. It's free, by the way, which is what I love about it. It's got a great UX UI. It's simple to use. You type in the prompt, hey, I make a XYZ. Here's my website. Here are my best sellers. I want to know, what are the angles, the data backed insights, consumer trends that I can use in a pitch to get featured in a Q4 shopping or gift guide. And within 1 second, I'm talking like 1 second, if it spits out 5 to 10 different angles tying your product, because it scrapes the internet for your URL, to trends that people care about. So whether it's a color trend, whether that's a style trend, whether that's a pop culture trend, it gives all of those things for you to make it relevant. And then you can say, well, I really like these angles. Can you please rank them in a star rating of what's most likely to be covered and what's least likely? And then it'll give you a comparison chart of all the different angles and what they think journalists and magazines will like. So then those are the really easy prompts. Another way to prompt Perplexity is say, here's a company that I want to emulate. They are, a really big player in my industry. Can you give me all of the places they've been featured at? And give me a list of it. And so doing that competitive analysis, it'll give you all the PR opportunities that your competitor has been on. Then you know what magazines are likely to cover you. Another quick tip is you can ask it something like, what magazines make gift guides that cover my product? Because depending on what you cover, an apartment therapy might not feature something over $200, but a Marie Claire might feature something that's a stocking stuffer. So it gives you all of that data so that you know who to pitch and how to pitch. And again, because I've trained the AI, the LLMs have basically learned from how I teach pitch writing. You can say, I like this angle. Please use Gloria's CPR pitching method to write the first draft. Boom. And then it does everything for you and it spits it out on that page.
Well, and Gloria, I was going to ask you, or really lean into the chat prompt, right? So we know that it's all about the prompt. I feel like there's definitely going to be some song that comes out where it's all about the prompt, and they're going to really give credit to all the GPTs, because it's true. Like, it's all about the prompt. And what I'm hearing from you is you actually have something that you can get it like ready to go with your prompt or your teaching method, that you actually start the process, and then it's really going to give you everything you need to start down the path of pitching your own business. Is that right?
Yeah. I mean, what I just said like 5 seconds ago, that'll get you like 90% of the way there. Right. Like
That's amazing.
and obviously in my program, like we have a copy and paste, like more substantial, more specific, but people can get featured just using that alone, And then, so let's talk about PR again. It's writing a relevant pitch and sending it to the right person. And so Perplexity covers that for you. It writes the relevant pitch. It tells you what's relevant and it gives you the first draft. After that, because Perplexity is not a writing tool, it's a research citation tool, I would take that draft and then put it into ChatGPT so that it's a little bit more colloquial. I do find that Perplexity writes a little bit formal, kind of like a high schooler writing a research paper. And so you would put it into ChatGPT so that's a little bit more friendly to the journalist. It'll come up with great subject lines and all the different nooks and crannies of like what to put in there for a gift guide. And so that's how you write the pitch, right? AI has now done all the work for you. You don't have to learn the CPR method. It does it. Now let's talk about who to send it to, right? And so obviously in our program, we have proprietary like media opportunities, but you can start to look for journalists and gift guide opportunities right now today for free. If you subscribe to something like Haro, Help a Reporter Out, or Peter Shankman's Source of Sources, or follow various journalists who write about products and gift guides on Substack. And we had so many people get featured in 24 hours by just literally copy and pasting the inquiry that they get, putting it into ChatGPT, and then pressing reply. Speed wins, and they get featured. So
That's
PR has never
amazing.
been done this way, right? Before it's like you got to pay someone who knows someone, but like for gift guides, it's so straightforward. You're not writing an op-ed, you're not writing a commentary article. You can absolutely use these AI tools to just quickly respond, because again, it's the journalist who's writing the end article. So you don't need to worry about, oh, I'm using AI. It's very straightforward. And yes, you can absolutely use AI to come up with a pitch and get featured in the gift guide that the journalist will write the final piece.
Thank you. Literally talking about no gatekeeping. You just gave us exactly from start to finish on really how to address these gift guides this year. So what I'm hearing from you is Perplexity to start from, drop it into GPT, Chat GPT, send it off to the journalist, and use some of those subscriptions or those outlets that you just described. Like that sounds so simple. Like it takes a lot of that time and creativity sort of out of play, because as you mentioned, the journalists are going to write the story anyway. So don't spend your time, money, and effort paying somebody or doing that part of it, because they're going to do it anyway. But is it too late? Like, is it too late? I'm on September 15 today. Is it too late? What do you think is the drop off date for some of these?
No, there are people writing gift guides, last minute gift guides 2 weeks before Christmas if you ship quickly, right? There's even gift guides on how to spend your Christmas money, Christmas gift card. So I think that's just another limiting belief. There are gift guides, seasons, evergreen stories, what to buy for mom. That's not just Q4. And so the sooner you can start doing this, the sooner you can start getting onto those gift guides, the more backlinks, the more being quoted in the media you will be. And again, that's going to help you really dominate AI search, because I promise you, 99% of other product owners like aren't even thinking about this. This is like, you heard it here first, you know? And so if you can just really focus and use this like 5-minute workflow and just try to get as many backlinks as possible, you will have saved like years of trying to do SEO work when it becomes impossible to penetrate. And so that's really what I mean by this is the golden window of opportunity that hasn't ever happened and probably won't happen in a decade. It's literally like blogging in the 2000s. Now, when you try to blog, like good luck getting the SEO, right? So this is your time. You heard it here first. In 6 months from now, don't tell me, Gloria didn't tell me, because I'm telling you right here, right now. And now is the time to do it.
So how do I make my product or the website searchable with GPT?
So when you get featured on a gift guide, it links back to your website. And so that tells the algorithms. And, research shows, and I got this from Perplexity, by the way, that if you're quoted or cited in the media, brands that are cited in the media are 300% more likely to get recommended on the LLM. So that's ChatGPTs, that's the Perplexity Geminis, and that's what we want.
Amazing. All right. So I'm going to pivot for a second, because you've obviously been in the space a long time. You've seen the highs and lows of different businesses, how they've succeeded. The statistics show. What biggest mistake have you seen that founders make when it comes to PR?
I think just being stuck in the old way of thinking, which is not their fault. I just think that the billion-dollar PR industry has made you feel like you either can't pitch on your own, or you're too small of a player, or you need to give your power to somebody. And I have found building a whole career out of making this accessible for like the smallest Etsy owner who like barely launched and get featured in Oprah's favorite things, that it's just absolutely not true. I think now, especially with product gift guides, it's so straightforward. It's not contentious. It's not like you're doing celebrity gossip or political stuff. It's just input output. And so the GPTs, the Perplexity makes it so easy for you to respond quickly. And the sooner you do that, the sooner you can start getting all those mentions, and they'll help you in every way possible, from SEO to credibility, and just being trustworthy. And I read a stat somewhere that, like customers trust AI recommendations 3 to 5 times more than any other source. Because think about it this way: if you're having an argument with your friend or sister, and you both look at ChatGPT for the answer, you think that that's right? Like you so
Automatically.
exactly. So in terms of a conversion point of view, it's so much closer to the conversion, because we just trust AI recommendations more than anything else.
And I love your approach to that. So when I'm thinking about forward, like tech forward brands, right? You're saying this is really where they need to step in. They need to own it. They need to embrace the technology moving ahead and staying organized around that. So when I'm thinking about staying organized and follow up on the gift guides, can you give some recommendations? So I've now sent my pitches off to all these gift guides as an option. And 9 out of 10 are crickets. Let's just say something like that happens. What's your recommendation for using GPT, Perplexity, and what kind of follow-up would be best served in this space?
Yeah. Well, first of all, if you follow the prompts and the instructions, it's not 9 out of 10 crickets, because we had people first pitch is first feature. So this is actually changing the game, because Perplexity gives you such an accurate way of bringing relevance in, better than anything that you could come up with, right? So the chances are actually much higher than I think, even hiring
Thank you.
agency. But in terms of like pro tips, as I always tell my students, to install an email tracking software so you know if it's being open or not. And so that way you don't create a drama about this journalist hates me. Well, maybe it's an out of office issue or maybe not. Let's say the email software is saying that it's being open multiple times. It means that they like it. They're just looking for a place for it. In which case you want to be patient. You want to follow up. And I would like to follow up maybe once every week or week and a half, up to 3 times if they're opening it. But I don't want to follow up in a way that's like, hey, following up, right? That's really just kind of annoying and repetitive. What you want to do when you follow up is in the same thread, talk about if something's been restocked, if something's a bestseller, if you have a new colorway, like something that kind of revives it of like, hey, and so that is a follow-up, but it's a follow-up adding a little bit of freshness, a little bit of newness.
That's great. And then when I look at some of these things, do you recommend, like, how much do I send to that gift guide? Do I send like a media kit? Do I send images? Do I just send, what's your recommendation in some of the body of the content and or attachments?
Very good question. I love how you're like a no BS get into it. So I don't like any attachments. It triggers their spam filter. Journalists are not going to click on anything as well. So what I love to do is put 2 low resolution photos and then hyperlinking to where they can find it and your page, right? So, but don't add any attachments. Again, it's just they're not gonna open it. It's gonna trigger spam. So we have an exact workflow that makes it like super specific to what we want in the program. We give them a copy and paste template. But basically, those are all the things you need to have. You need to have photo. You have good photos. You don't need to have a big following, but you want to have good photos, and you want to make sure that it works for a gift. So if you make, like one body lotion, and it's probably not great for a gift, but if you have a bundle, pitch that, unless you're doing like a stocking stuffer. So make it make sense, right? And in your gift guide pitch, you don't want to do more than 3 products, then it becomes like really overwhelming. So Perplexity can help you figure out what are the best products or bundles for that season. And so that's why Perplexity is great as well. Oftentimes it will be your best sellers. But again, like if you're pitching for a stocking stuffer, it makes sense if it's a singular item. If it's a gift for mom, make it make sense. Don't say here's 1 bar of soap. You know what I mean? And also if it's like, does it have great packaging? Like, is it ready to put under the tree? Like highlight those things as well.
Yeah, 1 bar of soap. For anybody listening, please don't send us 1 bar of soap. Thank you. Appreciate that. So what do you think about sending gifts? I want to talk about that for a minute. Do you send gifts to those PR outlets? Is that worth it? I have 2 questions. Do you send gifts, like your product as a gift, to get them interested? Because I know what that can look like, as we roll into the holidays. And then the second question is, what about pay to play? Like, do these gift guides cost money?
So there are so many opportunities out there. I can't vouch for the thousands of opportunities, but I will say that you can offer samples. It's up to you. It's not always necessary, but if you can offer a sample, then put that in there. And then if the journalist is interested and saying, yes, I would like a sample, then you can decide whether or not you want to send a sample, right? But you're not going to just send samples to everyone because you also don't know where to send it to. So if you want to offer that, you can do that, put it in the subject line. Sometimes if you have an affiliate link, it helps a lot. So if you have like an Amazon or a Skim Links, or if you have your own affiliate links, that could help. That is not pay to play. That's a win-win. Pay to play, I don't do any pay to play. Everything I've taught in my program is purely organic because then it gets the furthest reach. If it's an ad, then it doesn't have that SEO. It doesn't have the AI search credibility. So I'm really focused on editorial. I'm focused on, not paying someone to get into a gift guide. That's advertising. So there are, some fake influencers parading as writers. I can't control that, right? There's people who just want a bunch of free merchandise. And so that's where you will do your research to see, and again, Perplexity can help you on that, to see if their audience is aligned and if what they're asking for really is commensurate with, what you want to do. There are a lot of kind of, I think, very unethical, like, gift bag things where it's like, oh, like we want your product for a gift bag, I don't know, for some event, for a celebrity, but there's no, promise of it even being mentioned. And so I find that to be very predatory because small businesses have such thin margins, and like we can't just be giving like 300 samples, right, with no promise. So be wary of those opportunities because those do come often, and I find those to be very unethical.
Gloria, I see those all the time. Matter of fact, I get my clients and members of Pop Academy, right, send me emails that they receive that talk about, oh, your product could be listed or featured in one of our bags in the red carpet room or whatever that looks like, right, for all those celebrity giveaways. I'm so glad you actually just brought that up. I know we can do our research, Perplexity, I get all of the back of house stuff, but even just that emotional impact where you actually are a founder sitting there and you get this email, you kind of think, Maybe, right?
I mean, it is a maybe. It's a big maybe, and so it's dependent on your own like logistics and your P&L and whether or not it is. I can't control that, right? Nobody knows. So that's the individual decision. And there have been people who have given hundreds of products, and yes, a celebrity was featured. So, but like we don't know that. There's no guarantee. So it's really on you to decide. But I would just be weary, and the default answer shouldn't be, oh yes, right away, right? I think you should do your due diligence on that.
Have you had a client where something, whether it's been featured in, I won't use one of those bags necessarily, but in an article or something where their product, that particular product or their brand blew up? That's an interesting story.
Oh, we've had so many people. We have one person who
Sure.
makes swimsuits, and
Yeah.
English is not her first language. She's very introverted, and she started doing PR later on in life. And with my methods, by the way, this is before at Perplexity, so she was like writing a pitch from scratch. She actually got on to Oprah's Favorite Things and Cosmo and Vogue, Marie Claire, Allure, Desert Magazine. I think like 12 to 13 different mainstream features, and she was able to stop all ads and all social media, and she's just writing on the wave of her SEO features.
Amazing. I love those stories. And I love hearing that her personality didn't exactly lean her right into PR easily right out of the
Yeah.
gates. And she put the work into it. She knew with your help to be able to go do this. And her product obviously had to be really, really good, or that would not have withstood the test of time either.
I mean, she just makes swimwear. It's not anything fancy. It's just solid color swimwear. So you don't need to have a crazy interesting product. It's just a matter of pitching the right way. And now you don't even need to spend time doing it because Perplexity writes the pitch for you. So
You make this sound so easy. Like I'm
it really
thinking,
is.
oh, yeah, you really
Yeah.
do. You really are simplifying it. And I can't tell you how much I appreciate the candor here because that can be overcomplicated. Like I have so many times talked to different PR agencies or different groups where I feel like it's so complicated that I get overwhelmed and I don't want to do any of it. And what you've described is something I could actually start today.
Yeah, I think that like a lot of times when there's a lot of complexity, they kind of want to monetize on you. And it's not to say that, all things need to make simple, but for me, it's really about creating access. And so this is an advocacy type of work for me, to make as many diverse founders be seen in the media. How do we level the playing field? And you cannot create access if you don't make things achievable, empowered, and easy.
Well, and let's talk a little bit about that. I know you're teaching this week, actually. You're teaching inside my Pop Academy on Wednesday, which is fabulous. And then we launch our fall semester October 1st for anybody who's interested in Pop Academy. This is where we really, really lean into all product-based businesses. But you're going to be teaching some of these things inside of our class on Wednesday. I'm really excited for you to be there. And can you give us a little like sneak peek of what you will be sharing with the group?
Yeah, so I'm actually going to do a live screen share, and you'll actually see the exact. So I'm going to just call someone up from the audience who I've never met before, and we're going to do a live screen share of how to use Perplexity, and their jaws are going to drop because you're going to see exactly how it comes up with all of the relevance, the citations, identifying the trends. That's going to make it exciting for the journalist, and it comes to life in real time. You can see it on the screen, and I kind of walk through this workflow, and every time I do it, people's jaws drop, and they're like, because no one's doing PR this way. Like there's literally no one making it accessible in that way. So it's really revolutionary. It's really disruptive. And my whole mission is just to disrupt the status quo. And I think there's always going to be people doing PR the old way. And that's fine. If you have a lot of money, if you want to pay a PR agency $10,000 a month, but for a lot of small businesses, for a long time, it's been unachievable, not only from the budget perspective, but because of the time it took. Now with AI, you don't even need extra time. You literally input, output, press send, and get featured.
And share again, why are you doing this? Why are you sharing all of this information?
I just
And why
really,
are you spending
yeah.
so much time in the disruption space, I guess?
I just think I've never came from like a traditional background. Like again, I've never worked a day in my life in any PR agency. I kind of cold called as an outsider, throwing spaghetti on the wall, getting rejected, and I started to pick up on what works. And so that's how I came up with my CPR pitching method, which now all the AI models are trained on, right? And so that was kind of my way of saying, well, if you don't want to hire a publicist, or if you can't find a publicist, or if you're not in like the cool kids club, you still deserve to be seen. And I'm a 5 foot tall daughter of a widowed immigrant. I never really saw myself in media. And so access is really important. Like, how do we help the underdogs? How do we help the everyday small business owner still have access to the top 1% of media? And I think that the old model is really based on privilege and access and gatekeeping. And my whole mission is, like you said, and that's why you have me on, is not gatekeeping any of it and just making it accessible and achievable. And so many people do get featured just by, again, listening to this. And I really believe that the more you help people for free, like people will want to work with you, like that energy will always come back to you.
And as you're saying all of this, I have an introduction that I immediately need to make as soon as we're off camera, because I think there's another group of women who are in the manufacturing space that they're of the same mindset. No gatekeeping, want to share things with manufacturing products and finding the best source and negotiating those contracts. And I'm like, the two of you absolutely need to connect, because it's so refreshing to find humans in the space of actually sharing all of this information to, like, a rising tide lifts all boats. And that's so important to me, to really help others succeed in this space. And PR can be daunting. I'm not going to lie. Like, there was a time when I had my handbag business, which I still do. I pulled out of DTC because I'm like, I just can't. It's one more thing. And I didn't have the budget for it. There's no way I could have considered PR.
Yeah, it's really revolutionizing. And again, the time has never been better. And so that's why I say, like, if you do nothing else in the next 3 months, like just focus on this, listen to this episode, watch the training, because this is a golden era that's never happened. And no one's sharing this information. So how do you really just take all these free tools that does all the heavy lifting for you and easily get featured so that you can dominate AI search? Because that's where everyone's going. It is where everyone's going.
What if I want to get your prompts? So can you share a little bit more about that? Because you mentioned these prompts. So as a person and as a believer in educating, for me, it's best to be able to, like, have a system in place, something maybe I can share with my team, something I can, like, follow along, like the guidebooks and things like that, like your prompt. How do I find that, or where is that, or how can I stay engaged with you on that?
Yeah. So inside my program, getfeaturedaccelerator.com, we have all of that for you, and also the PR examples, like daily PR opportunities. But what I just told you, like those 3 or 4 prompts that I just said right now, that'll get you 90% there. Right. So, like, rewind, look at the transcript. I've already given you 4 prompts that I use every day, that people use every day. And I really don't think there's like a magic sauce or like a secret thing to like prompting. I think a lot of the AI bro marketers, if you will, have really, again, gate kept AI with saying you need to learn prompt engineering. And so for a lot of women in my program who are maybe like not tech savvy, they haven't been able to leverage AI. And so we want to make it accessible by saying you don't need to learn prompt engineering. You can just start, literally tap the microphone button and start dictating your train of thought. And you can ask it, how do I get you to do this? Can you do this for me? And that has changed the game in how so many people in my program have used AI, because it just removed all the instruction part of it. It's like, we don't want to learn another thing to learn AI. We just want to start
No.
using it.
Right, exactly. And that's what I wanted to really lean into, where we can get those resources. You have a podcast as well, don't you?
Yeah. So I have a free masterclass as well, gloriachoupr.com/masterclass. And you can DM me the word pop at Gloria Chou PR. And I can, I'm in the DMs. Yes, it's me. And I can share additional resources for you. But again, those prompts, and then following like Haro and Substack and Source of Sources, we've had so many people get featured for free just by doing that all day. Like, and you don't even have to write a pitch. You can just simply respond to the dozens of gift guide opportunities that journalists are sharing every day.
Amazing, Gloria. I love all of this. And I'm encouraging everyone to just, like, start to put this into practice, right? You have to calendar some time, not as much as you used to be able to lean into this and just follow along with the prompts that Gloria has so generously given us. And for many of you who are part of Pop Academy and the Pop Academy alumni class, we'll be with her on this Wednesday to talk through a screen share where she will actually blow our minds. And yes, that will be recorded as well. So I think also, Gloria, I'm sure you'd love to hear from anybody who's watching and listening their wins. Like, share your wins with Gloria. I'm sure that would be something that would actually feed your soul, if I'm not mistaken.
Oh, that would be amazing. Please do. And thank you for creating a space for doing this. Like I said, no one's talking about this in this way. So I appreciate you giving the platform and helping your people leverage these free tools to get featured.
Amazing, Gloria. It's always a joy to be on camera and with you as much as we can, even though we are not yet in person. We will one day soon. And I look forward to sharing all of your information, today's episode, and the prompts you've so generously shared with us. Thank you so much. And we look forward to seeing you this Wednesday inside of Pop Academy. This is what No Gatekeeping is all about. Real strategies, real stories, and tools that help founders lead with intention. Definitely subscribe so you don't miss what's next. And we'll see you on Thursday for our next episode.